Hi there, you are joining me at the end of week 8 of my 50k training block. So if you watched last week's video, I talked about how my 50k goal has changed slightly. It's now not a mountain 50k and it's going to be my own 50k, putting together all the trails that I've been training on and a bit of beach. So that's what I've been kind of planning this week, as well as a 5-mile race, local race that I've got next weekend. So I'll catch you up with my training and talk about what this run is going to involve. So Sunday the weather was so beautiful. It was a big cross-training day. And I cycled in the morning and then we did a family trip to go surfing for the afternoon. Monday, 7 miles. I can't believe I'm not filming this for my treadmill running. It's absolutely stunning out here. Oh well, I'm going to enjoy it. The beach is actually a bit steep. I've kind of missed low tide, so I'm going to cut on the road for a bit. Back on the beach. Just had a peanut butter chocolate spread wrap, and I've got some Starburst gummies, sour gummies for my treat today. I haven't bothered with any tailwind or anything. Absolutely beautiful. Nearly 6 miles. I've been testing out my new bone conducting headphones I got for my birthday. They're awesome. You can hear the cars and listen to my podcast. Yeah. Not quite a double lane road, so I have to keep an eye out. It's Wednesday, I'm running 6 miles. I'm actually going to try 1 mile steady, 1 mile race pace for my 5 mile for next week. I've got my Brooks Hyperion on to see if they'll help me go a bit faster. Alright, I'm coming up to 1 mile. I'm going to put this away and focus and see if I can do the next mile at race pace, which last year was average 7 minutes 50 seconds a mile. That was my watch. Right, go. Okay, I may have to rethink this run. I just tried to run at race pace and my right quad has been a bit sore and stiff the last couple of days from some kind of one of the workouts I did, not sure which one. I really twinged, so this might just have to be an easy run. I'll see how it feels a bit later. Alright, come to the beach. I'm going to try out my quad again and see if I can do something a little bit faster. I'm not sure it's very likely. I just tried another mile fast, and I just can't get beyond kind of 9 minute a mile pace with my quads. Maybe just my body, because I really haven't tried running fast for so long because of all my injuries. So, I'll try another day. Definitely faster than my normal pace, so that's something. I'm going to do this last mile slow. So yesterday I did a workout, probably my hardest workout that I've done for a long time, both cardio and all my muscles, and definitely feeling it in my quads today. I didn't film it, but I'll maybe put it up on the screen now. You can see what I did. This was my Thursday weight training session, mainly weights, and then this is my cardio session at the end with burpees, bike, and then a run. So that was my week. Somewhere along there, I strained my quad. I don't know if it was one of the group workouts. I really pushed it on Tuesday, but I did also do some single leg stuff earlier in the week, just on my own. I don't know if that did it, but that's kind of affected my run today. So if I was still on my 50k training, this would be a 15-mile long run, but because I've got the 5-mile race next weekend, I decided to cut it down to 8 miles. But now with my quad, I'm really not too sure. Feels okay plodding along like this, but I know if I try and push off to do anything faster, it's still really painful. So I don't want to overload it, even though it's not hurting. So, done. I've only done a mile and a half. I'll decide at some point. And it's such a beautiful morning for a run. It's actually chilly driving down here. Actually had the heater on, which it's unheard of end of April here. Actually would have been a lovely morning to have done 15 miles. And even though this quad strainer is pretty mild, it's got me down a little bit because I've been battling various niggles in my joints and ball in my foot, but I hadn't had any muscle issues to deal with, and I felt like the rehab of my joints was going pretty well. They were handling the training, so to get this is kind of frustrating and my own fault, because I was feeling like everything was going well and maybe pushed it a bit at the beginning of this week, adding a little bit more, and it obviously really wasn't the time for that. So I don't think it's going to affect my 50k training very much, because it's fine plodding along slowly, but I really wanted to be able to race this 5 mile next weekend. So that's what I'm going to have to see and be patient with, and not test it on any strides, which I was hoping to do today. Also this week I've been planning out what my 50k is going to look like and how to get people involved, because I'd like to get friends, family, local community involved in some way. I don't think anyone's going to do the actual whole 50k with me, but it'd be nice to get them to do parts, and I'd like to do some fundraising. But all of that's making me get more excited about it, but then I also get more stressed about it, especially when my quad flares up like this, because then I think, well, that's just more people to let down on the day if something goes wrong, if I get injured. So I'm going to keep going with it, but that's just adding a little bit of stress. Okay, so this is my turnaround spot, but the tide gets almost low enough that I could run it. That would be so pretty. Don't know what to do. It's a bit of an angle. But I could get like halfway back along here. But it's going down. It's like 3 hours away from low tide there. And I don't want to irritate my ankle. Okay, I'm going to decide. Okay, I just did a little test run on the beach. It is a bit squishy and a bit of an angle. Beautiful as it is, I don't think it's worth it. I'm going to go back on the trail. Five miles. My quad still feels okay. Struggling a bit with food. My peanut butter wraps, the PBJ wrap today, not feeling so good. Stomach hurts after it. That protein bar tasted good, but so crumbly it's hard to eat. I don't know, not doing so well with solid food at the moment. Got some tailwind in one of my flasks, so just drinking that. And it's only 8 miles, so don't have to worry too much. Just something to think about for the actual day. So my plan next week is just to manage this quad so that I can miss the 5 mile. So this track that I'm running on now and that I'm doing most of my training on is called the Old Banks Road. And if I put it all together, it adds up to 50k. Actually, if I put it together with some tarmac stretch, which is called the Banks Road, it adds up to 50k. So the north and southern ends of it are unpaved like this. So I'm calling my run the Banks Road Beast. So I'll be running along this and then maybe hopping onto the beach at low tide. I also have to find 2 extra miles, so I'm probably going to be running around a couple of salt ponds as well. And there's houses most of the way along. This bit doesn't have anything, but I'll be hitting some houses in a minute. So none of it is remote. Apart from the very last bit at the end, get about half a mile. So this is the average kind of terrain of the Old Banks Road. It's sandy, but not technical. Car can get through, and I won't need trail shoes for it. And then some bits are a bit more rocky, some bits are more overgrown, and then when it becomes the Banks Road, it's paved for a bit. The ocean's always really close. Yeah. This is actually where I was hoping to kind of come out and come back on, but it wasn't quite low enough tide. 7.5 miles, I'm nearly done. I can't imagine that this would be halfway. That I should be running 15 miles today. My legs are so tired. They felt really good at the beginning as well, and I thought, oh, this is what happens when you have 2 days off running. I didn't run Friday and Saturday, and no, it didn't last that long. Anyway, it felt like a bit of a disrupted week. Started off strong and kind of went off track a bit, but then one more disrupted week and then back into the 50k training, hopefully. Alright, see you next week after my 5 mile race. you.